My name is Dana Stanley. I am going to make the little video response to your question about how do I submit the paper. I think it's something that is best explained via video. So I'm going to give you an example of how to prepare files. I'm going to use Helion to actually make mock submission, and just before I hit submit, I'm going to click delete submission, but you will see the whole process and I will explain things as I go. So to make the video shorter, let's get started. I'm going to move this screen on. I've worked with 5 screens around me, so I love that stuff. It helps with paper submission as well. So I just picked this one paper. That's paper that I recently submitted to Animal Nutrition. When you submit paper, make submission folder, separate folder, and put everything that you submitted, every file you submitted in it. And I also, you can see that I saved the email of confirmation, and I saved my PDF proof, like the PDF that is prepared as well. So when you're doing your rebuttal, you just go to this folder and you don't end up using and making corrections on the wrong draft, because you see here I got many drafts of the paper. What you need to do before you get started, you need to prepare all of the files you're going to submit, and you need to tick a few boxes before you start submission process. First, you need a list of all authors. You need their emails, affiliations, addresses, phone numbers. Many journals are happy with just email and university address, university affiliation, but some will ask for phone numbers, some will ask for actually a little bit more details. That doesn't happen very often. Mostly name, affiliation, and email you need for every author that you're going to submit. Changes are happening very fast in submissions. So before, a few years ago, no one thought about graphical abstract. Now you have to submit graphical abstract in many journals, and that is a tweet size summary and a figure. In this case, I have a figure, and this is a figure that would follow the tweet that gives a summary of your paper. Check author instructions so you know exactly what they want. So basically what I have here, I have separate figures as PNG files, but I also have all of these figures as raw files in GIMP and in Illustrator. So I can turn them into high quality TIFFs, and I will submit high quality TIFFs when the paper is accepted. At the moment, these are the figures. Whatever I'm talking, this paper is about gene expression changes caused to liver by prolonged consumption of oregano. And it's done in chickens on the actual farm. Basically, I also have the draft, and this is this is the manuscript draft that I'm going to submit. And as I said, before I start submission, I move and I check that I have every file last version, and I move them in submission folder, which I've done with my previous submission. What you will also need in many journals is credit author statement. You can Google credit author statement and you'll get examples, but here is the example, the title, and then it tells you who did what. And these things are copy pasted from the list. And this is the credit author statement. You do need cover letter, but editors that handle so many hundreds of papers, for example, a month, they will not read long sob stories about if you have something very specific. I don't have anything specific to say about this paper. It's gone to Animal Nutrition, impact factor 4.6, perfect. So, but it's not a Nature paper. If it was Nature paper or something over impact 10, I would put much more attention in that cover letter. But for my normal papers, my sort of mediocre or my honors students papers, this is as far as I go. And so you need cover letter, credit author statement. Here, this journal insists on author agreement form, which I had to sign. Here is this form with my signature, which I had to submit. So that's all sitting in the instructions for authors. Uh, so you have to read instructions carefully. Now, when you start writing your paper, what I do, for example, I have, let me just go to my papers, I do have manuscript templates. So say here is manuscript template for molecular nutrition here. And so I do have these templates prepared before I start, whatever. And so I've got everything. So these people want double space. These people want line numbers. They want this order. So they don't have methods. How do they have? They call it experimental section. They don't call it methods. So I prepare these abstracts. I prepare some mock headings. So and in references, I have few references already added, and I added reference style for this journal. So I'm good to go as soon as if you don't work that way, so if you go through, where is Oregon RNA? So if you go through that and change the whole sort of formatting after you write a draft, it makes it a bit harder. I have templates for pretty much every journal that I publish in, saved in a template folder. So when you have all of the data, also make sure that to think what you're going to do with raw data, make sure that your raw data is submitted to public databases if needed. I am submitting with this, I've submitted appendix file, that is the file, well, this journal wants this file called appendix file 1 or appendix file 2. And in that file, I included QC report. Then I have expression matrix because this is gene expression study. I have statistic of the seq output. And then I have pathways, tables. I have disease heat map profile and stuff like that. So I like to provide raw data with everything in form of supplementary data, and it's submitted to public databases. Once you have all of your files and you have the names of all the authors, next step that you have to do is you have to check the paper for plagiarizing. I made a mistake once and I didn't check the paper, and one of my co-authors copy-pasted whole paragraphs, and I got email from editor, and I was like furious with myself. So never trust, no matter how well you know your team, put it just in case. Maybe they copy-pasted intending to fluff it up later and forgot. So a lot of people do that, not with bad intention, but it can be a problem. So I use Grammarly. Grammarly is free also, although I have license for it. I have like a pro version of it, and it was only like $100. Plus, I mean, I'm not original English speaking, and I need my grammar check as well. So for me, Grammarly works really well, and I'm not advertising it. What I like about it is that I can put the file in and run plagiarizing check against everything online, and it really will find every instance and report percentages and stuff. Remember when when editor gets your paper, editor can see plagiarizing percentage and editor can see duplication percentage. So it will say 50% of this paper is matching this submission. You can click on that submission and have a look at it. Editors can also see your previous submissions, whether it was rejected, history of the paper, and so on and so forth. So don't submit to two journals. Don't even ever be tempted to do something like that. You have to do everything by the book. So prepare your files, do the plagiarizing check, select the journals, read the instructions carefully, because they will flick it back to you because the title is not italic or whatever other things they have for that particular journals. You have to follow the rules. So let's just now do a mock submission to Helion, and I'm doing Helion. So, okay, so obviously you have registered before and you had login details before you log in into Editorial Manager, and then you hit Submit New Manuscript. Okay, so we have article type. So first you select what you're submitting. Let's say we're submitting original research article. And then you proceed, and then you get to attach files, and I'm just going to drag and drop files from here. So Obviously, you got drag and drop area there, so I am going to go with cover letter first. And cover letter is now attached. And when you get here, change the type of the manuscript to cover letter. Now here you got the list of, and this is telling you what needs to be submitted. Everything that has a star has to be submitted. Obviously in this journal, cover letter doesn't have star. In a lot of journals, cover letter has a star, which means you cannot submit without it. And in a lot of journals, a lot of things have, like in animal nutrition, I had to prepare author statement, credit author statement, author agreement form, all of these things had a star. But in this case, I need only manuscript file. Let's just then add our fake manuscript. Not fake, this is the one that was submitted. And the manuscript is now submitted. So you can continue now and add your supplementary data here, supplementary material, figure 1, 2, 3, 4. Some journals allow you to put figures at the end. Some journals allow you to embed figures in text. Others insist that they separately uploaded. So you make sure you follow the rules of quality, size. Make sure that the figures, when they open, are not massive or miniature. So make sure that they're properly done, and you can find online how to actually prepare the figures. It's a whole new story. So let's say we've done that and you attached all of your files, and let's just continue. And so this is required section to choose in which category you're submitting this. My research is all in gut microbiota. Some is veterinary in livestock animals, some is human, some I have clinical research. I have projects on prostate cancer, and I have some environmental research, again, about microbiota in the soil. So you pick your own area here loosely. I'll just, let's just put agriculture here. Usually mine is food or microbiology. And so then you click next, and it's going to ask you to pick classifications. So you need to add classifications, and this is in what area you are. So let's say I'll just add food, food. So you have to add 5 classifications. So you find your area and you add them. Until you add them, it won't let you go. So you select these ones that you're going with and you submit. Some others will not have this step, so steps can be different between them. A lot of submission profiles will have separate ethics statements, separate statement. You submitted data to which public database, under which number, and so on. So you can add suggested reviewers. You do not have to do it in Helion. There are journals that insist, for example, animal nutrition, you have to submit 3 reviewers. Let's say I'm not going to do that. I'll go to next. I'm not going to oppose reviewer. You have a chance to say opposed reviewer, to add opposed reviewer, and that is a person that you do not want to review your paper. If you have someone who hates you and is in your area, or someone who is a competition to your supervisor, or your supervisor hates them, just put them as opposed reviewer. This makes sure that they're not invited as a reviewer. And then I'll proceed. And then you will have to add that you're going to pay for fees. Yes, I'm going to pay fees. And then you have this auto contribution statement. And this is the credit statement. So I can pick it up from my other screen. Where is the credit statement? And copy. And this has 2,000 limits. So I've just copied that. And then please confirm that all authors have seen. Some need authors, like previous thing that I've shown you, author agreement form with my signature, where I have pledged my life that every author saw and approved the last version. Then you have these declarations. If you have nothing to declare, you put no conflict of interest. But if you were doing research on probiotic, and you were paid by company that produces that probiotic, then you have big conflict of interest to declare. So declare every conflict of interest rightfully and justly, otherwise you can get in trouble. Dual publication, did you submit this elsewhere? And this is also a big problem. A lot of people change the paper a little bit and submit in another journal. And lucky we have Elizabeth Bick and other people that chase them up and bring them to justice, because that is just rubbish. Do not submit your paper in a little bit different version and in a little bit different words and a little bit different title and a little bit different figures elsewhere, because you will get caught. So make sure that you say that you complete, that you did everything ethically, that you did not that you didn't submit that elsewhere or publish it elsewhere, and you got all of these statements. Yes, these are my images. Publication ethics hazards. So did you have biosecurity concerns? So did you work with poisons and dump them on soil or whatever? No. Did you work with chemicals that have any unusual hazards? In my case, no. Does your study involve procedures, equipment? That we said that. Data accessibility. Did you submit data? Yes. I submitted online, and I submitting raw data is as appendix file. Was it done in humans? No. Was it done in animals? Yes. If it's done in animals, if you say it's done in animals, it will ask you immediately provide ethical statement. So let's just say no. And then, okay, clinical trials. They were not human. If I said yes, it's human clinical trial, it will open. You need to have registered trial ID and all the other trial information to add. Are you submitting to special issue? No, I'm not. And then I'll click proceed, and we're almost done. We'll now have to give a title, an abstract, and that's it. So full title. Okay, full title goes here. Abstract, you just copy your abstract. Here's a paper. And so here's the abstract. Copy. Where's abstract? Paste. Oh yeah, they don't like paste. You have to go Control V. And then keywords. Oh my God, blah, blah, blah. And then it says separated by semicolons. Blah. How many keywords? Yeah, you have to put about 5 keywords. I'm just These are my keywords. Our limit is 10. That's good. So I'll go next. And this is I am the author. So you would have to, you are added because you registered and you logged in and your name is there. So you go add another author. Okay, blah, and then you will add institution. When you start typing, say central, and you get university, say, or whatever, you select from drop-down list. If in all of these managers you have this system, if your university is not there and you type whatever, college, if you do not immediately click outside, it will default and change it to the first one that is selected, that is offered. So make sure that you will have to fiddle with that. And then you choose the country and you hit save, or save and add another one. Yes, I want to discard. So once you add the authors, you can move them. You can click here and move them up and down and make sure they are in correct order. And the next step is to build PDF for your approval. And then you approve and submit. So funding information is missing. Of course, funding information. There was no funding. And then I build PDF. Otherwise, if it was funding, you add funding source. When you hit build PDF for your approval, you are getting to complete. It is building the PDF. And it's very important to check the PDF. So you really have to check the PDF. So now we have action links. I can hit view submission. And this submission will be, okay, put it on desktop, save. And I will open it. And here it is. So it's got the stuff that I've submitted, obviously, and then it's got the paper. You scroll down and you look at everything in this paper. Oh, so this is obviously rushed work in progress. I hope I didn't submit this. No, that's not in my submitted folder. So, and you see, this can happen if you submit wrong version. And then you go and you check that everything is nice. So you don't have empty lines between things. You have these everything looks nice. So you don't have like 3 enters and empty lines in between this, because it looks really bad. Obviously, you see, this is not the final version of paper that I selected, so I got these things. And if I didn't check, for example, I wouldn't pick it up. So this version will not have the figures, because it does have figures. So I attached them separately, but I also included them in the submission. So that's it. So I'm happy with this. This is good. Nothing went wrong. Sometimes these PDFs can be generated. You have 3 triple line spacing and they look terrible. Everything is all over the place. So open the file, check the file, and now you have option here to approve submission. So you would normally hit ethics, I accept, and you would go here, and if you're happy with your PDF, you go and select approve submission. What I'm going to do is I'm going to remove submission. Come on, remove it. Are you sure that you want? Yes, I want to delete it, and because I don't intend to submit it. And that's it. That's it from me. I hope this helped you. If you have any questions, send me a personal message, and I will answer. Bye-bye.